In this video, we're going to take a quick look at how to curate records and create records and make them available to the eLibrary and also retract them when we need to make some edits for some reason. So here we see the standard eLibrary interface. As you know, it does things like search ahead, being able to sort of um, predict what you might be ready to type based on what it sees in there. There are also some advanced search features. We imagine people won't tend to use these unless they can't find what they're looking for just by directly searching in the search bar here. And that search is going to search the keywords that are in the title. It's also going to search anything that's kind of in the description, which is kind of like the abstract, if that's been entered into Salesforce. So most of the time, people are going to find what they need just by searching that. But we, of course, can search by author as well. So just searching for, say, Smith here will bring up a bunch of articles with any author having Smith, a very prolific author, H. Smith here. So let's have a look at how that works on the Salesforce side. Um, as you know, everything is using the intellectual property record type, and you can see there's a whole bunch of intellectual property records here. Most of these are eLibrary records. This is the default view that you would get, and most of your non-eLibrary records would have a project name and a description of IP. That's not actually They're not actually fields that the eLibrary cares about. We don't tend to write anything in those fields, and I'm going to show you um, which fields do matter and which fields don't. But one thing you can do is you can alter or create a new list view and change the fields that get shown. And I've actually made one here called eLibrary. So that shows the record type here. The eLibrary one's just called IP. And the fields that matter are the title. There's a description field. We've obviously not put that here because it would be too long. There's authors, the document type, the tags, and permission to publish and web publishing status. These are the ones you'd want to see at a glance. And then to see an individual record in detail, we'd go ahead and click on it. And I'll go through what you would want to, which fields we need to kind of care about. The first one is the title, and that's the title of the article. So if we search for lasting, I can actually see lasting regional gains from non-renewable resource. If we do a search for that, that's the title, and that's the same title as is here. And then this bit of kind of preview text is the same preview text we get in description. Now that's not description of IP, that is description. I'll go through soon creating a new record and show you exactly what you need, but it's the title field, the URL is where it will actually link to. So that is when um, when I click read more, it would be very hard to see, but down the bottom you can, well, I guess I can say open a new tab. That linkinghub.elsevier link there, that's the exact link that we've said that we would take them to. So the title, the URL, and the description are the three most important things we want. There's this thing called an import ID. That's something that you'll never have to touch, but it will become populated when we do some kind of import or sync action. This field will be automatically populated. It's something we never need to touch. Likewise, the IP number is just assigned by Salesforce / turnkey. These ones here, IP name, brief description of IP, those are the types of things you would normally fill out for an IP record. We just leave them blank here. If you put something in there, it won't matter. It won't affect the eLibrary at all. You can certainly do that if you want to. You could copy these fields in there if you wanted to, but you really don't have to. Um, Then there are none of this section contributors. We don't touch registration details. We don't touch. The section we care about is this one here, eLibrary details. We also don't touch anything down here, additional information. So it's really just title, URL, description, and then down here, eLibrary details. The media type is whether it's an audio recording or whether it's a Word document or whether it's a PDF. At the moment, we don't do anything with in terms of being able to search for this. It's something that we thought you might want to curate data into this field, and we might want to search it at some future time, but at the moment we don't. But media type is what actual format is this item? Is it a video? Is it a PDF document? Is it an Excel spreadsheet? That's its media type. Well, in fact, all records that we currently have imported have a blank media type, as far as I know. Document type, everything we've imported is just an article, and that may not actually be accurate. Some of them might be a report or something like that. So you can definitely edit this field. Where it actually matters is here, where we say type. We can actually type in, I want to search for all articles. Now, oops, article. This really should probably be, and it actually returns everything because everything's an article at the moment. Probably at some point in the future, that should be a drop down. So we would have everything that you've put in there, say articles. So you had articles, reports, um, abstracts, poster presentations, those sorts of things, they would all be some kind of drop down. At the moment, everything is just an article. Um, and again, it's about if that information gets curated across all of the records, and I can show you if we go back, we can actually see, other than one test one that was a document, all the rest are just articles. So um, it depends whether it's important to you or not to change that field. And if it comes to a point where you have some kind of rich data in there, we can alter the front end so that you can search across it. At the moment, everything's an article. I can't imagine people would be searching on that at the moment. They're much more likely to search on title, which is the default anyway, um, or author. Um, the other one is subject. So, uh, and just having a look at one of these records, we were kind of nearly there. We talked about the media type, the document type. Publish date is is not so much when we put the article onto the eLibrary. It's when uh, the article itself would have been published. So um, that's the date that should go in there. Um, the subject that I was talking about is here in tags. So this is where you would tag a a record. This one's enduring community value from mining, ECVM, tracking and mapping mine expenditure. So you might add some tags. The tags can be anything, and you separate them with commas. So it could be that this is EVCM, comma, um, ECVM, sorry, ECVM, comma, um, mine expenditure might be another one. Mine expenditure and community value might be another one. So that's three separate tags there. So this is counted as one, then the comma separates it from the next one, which is counted as one, mine space expenditure, and then the comma separates it from the third one, which is counted as one. Related image URL is really just for the future, in case there's a way to associate images with articles um, or content at some point in the future. At the moment, it's unused, so you can leave it alone. And the last one is the authors. The authors need to be one per line, uh, surname first, comma, and then other names. So you would, if you wanted to add another author, you would press enter, and then the next line would be like power Brad. Okay, so if you had a company or something, you would have like Monsanto Ltd, full stop, something like that, and that would come up as it would publish as Boyd Blackwell, comma Brad Power, comma Monsanto Limited. Okay, let's get rid of those because those people were not part of this. Now I've made some changes here. So yeah, all of these are not used. Okay, it's only the things that we've talked about: the title, URL, and description, and then down here in the eLibrary details, all of these fields here, of which really um, the ones that we've spoken about in a bit more detail are the ones that are used. The last thing is permission to publish to the web and web publishing status is approved. So when the permission to publish to web is ticked and web publishing status is approved, then this record will appear on the eLibrary. If this is unticked, or if this is in any other state but approved, so say it was ticked but drafting, that would not publish to the web. If it was ticked but submitted, it would still not publish. If it was ticked, not ticked and approved, it would not publish either. So it's kind of like there's two checks, right? So the first one is this allowed to be published? The second one is kind of an internal state for your team to be, well, we're still working, we're still working on this. I've given it to someone to, for them to check my work, and then that person says that's okay now, and then we tick this, and now that will publish to the web. Okay, so all of these changes have not been saved. Everything I just touched then, I could click cancel now and make them go away. So I might just do that so that that record is not tarnished. So if we come back here and I I have actually just quickly changed a couple of the records to have some tags. So one of these has a planning tag because it was called closure planning. Another one has an assessment tag because it was an assessment one. And you could go through and you could tag others. But what it would mean is in the front end, when I say subject and I type planning, I should just get that one article. Whoops, we had all this stuff in there as well. So subject contains planning, and we get that first one, closure planning. If we say subject contains assessment, and we do a search, we get this. Okay, so that was the one that had the assessment. Now I could, so any of these that we want to edit, we obviously just click that little pen icon, and we can then delete. I can delete these tags. Whoops. Yep. So it's showing me that those two items have changed. If you wanted to bulk change a bunch of things, you can actually select. Um, actually, that's right. So we select a bunch of the items here. See all these tick boxes? And then when I come here, I can either tick or untick that and update 16 selected items. So that would tick them all. So if I had have unticked, oh sorry, that was for tags. Sorry, I meant to use this field here. So this would be permission to publish to the web. So they're currently all ticked. If I untick them and click apply, um, I have not demonstrated this well. I'm so sorry. So I'm unticking it and I'm saying update all 16 of them to be unticked. We say apply. They all untick. Okay. So it's showing me that these are all the changes I'm about to make if I hit save. Now I don't actually want to. If I did this, it would unpublish all of these from the eLibrary. And then to get them back again, say I did unpublish them all, I could sit and do some changes and then say now I'm ready to publish them all again. Uh, I could tick and say update all 16 to be ticked, and now they're all ticked. So it's saying these are the changes you're going to make. Um, we could um, we could come in here and make a change, say to this one, to say non-renewable is a tag that we're going to apply to this one here, and I can say save. Now, what's just happened is all of those changes that we made have just been applied to the records. It wasn't actually very much. I deleted a non-existent tag out of all of these ones. I deleted the two tags here, the planning and assessment tags, they're gone. I didn't end up changing any of those permission to publish to web ticks, and I've added one tag here for non-renewable. Just because I've hit save, it actually won't do anything on the eLibrary side. So if I come here and I search for non-renewable and hit go, it says I couldn't find anything. And that's because we've made the change to Salesforce, to Turnkey, but remember that the importer has to periodically run and say, hey, do you have any new records or any changes to records? And the Salesforce will answer with what it has. Now, I can, those just normally update sort of twice a day. I can actually just force an update, which I will do now. Um, and we will be able to see the effect. All right, I've made that change. I've done the import in the background, and so now we should be able to search for non-renewable and click search, and that did not work. Let's just try that again. Well, that is unfortunate. Let's just make sure. Non-dash renewable. I wonder. I'm just wondering if the dash in there caused a problem. I will just do another update in the background. My apologies, and let's just try that again. No, let's just search for renewable. Yeah, there we are. So it looks like a dash does cause an issue. I'm having to think about why that is, but hopefully we shouldn't need to tag too many things using a dash. But that looks like it is the correct one. Okay, so let's look at how would we. So that's kind of how you would curate these things. Um, I will actually just show you how if I changed the web publishing status. What if I changed that to drafting, for instance, and hit save? Then we wait until the next import cycle, but I will just do it in the background. I'll force a manual one so we can see the effects immediately. This record should go away. We shouldn't be able to find lasting regional gains from etc. anymore. So let's just search for lasting regional gains. And if I do a search, we find other records, but we don't find the lasting regional gains one. That's gone now. And in fact, if I do our subject search for renewable, and I do a search, we get no records. If I come back to the eLibrary, um, go back to approved and click apply. So that's a way of retracting a record, right? And we click approve, I click save. I'm going to do a manual import in the background. It's a step that you're not seeing on the screen here. And we're going to go back and we're going to do that search again for renewable. There we go. It's helpfully remembered what I searched for. And there it is. It's back. The record's back. So that kind of shows you how you can pull a record back if you need to. But if you pull a record back, it's not going to happen immediately like I'm demonstrating here. You are going to have to wait until the next import cycle. Um, now, let's talk about how we would add a new record. So we say new. We do a this central one, IP, record IP with eLibrary details. And here we go. Title is the one we want. So I'm going to do a total arbitrary one here. I'm going to show what it would look like. So this is actually let's be a little more normal about this. Let's do uh, um, chip war the fight for, this is the name of a book, for the world's most critical technology. I am angry that I didn't capitalize that as I went. Okay, there it is. The URL www.mybook.com. So wherever the URL is for the article, the description would be, uh, let's just use some, I'm just going to copy and paste some text from that's actually out of the importer, just so I've got something to type. We leave the import ID blank. We leave these all blank. Don't need to touch any of that. Don't need to touch any of this. None of this. Okay, in the eLibrary details, the media type, we could say book. Actually, this would be, yeah, no, it would be book. Um, document type, we have document, report, user study, or article. Let's say it's a document. The published date, um, let's say it was published in 2023 on October 11th. Tags is microchip economy. Oops, right? Um, we don't need to worry about the related image URL. It's written by Miller. Chris. Chis? No, no, Chris. Chris. Wow. That looks so strange, but that is correct. Okay. And let's say that we've just drafted this. Okay. We say save. So there it is. It's done. I know the description looks ridiculous. Let's actually, otherwise it's going to look silly. So let's just go to Google. Okay, we're just going to get some lorem ipsum text because should only take a second. Here, this will do. Right, so we're going to edit this there. Now, none of this has gone to the eLibrary yet. It's just a record in Salesforce. And in fact, if I if an import cycle happened now, this record wouldn't be pulled across because it's it doesn't have permission to publish to the web and it's in drafting status. And in fact, I will do an import in the background just so that you uh, can be assured. I've just done one. If I come back here and I search for chip, I actually don't find anything. Okay. I'm going to go permission to publish to web is true. I'm also going to say I've finished drafting. I actually had someone approve this. We're actually ready to go. This is ready to go. At the next import cycle, this record will get pulled into the eLibrary. So let's do that manually in the background. That has been done. And if I now search for chip, there it is. Chip or the fight for the world's most critical technology, and here's all of our lorem ipsum. It was published on Wednesday, 11th of October, 2023, last year, by Chris Miller. that's good. And then all those other things will now work. So our author search, we look for Miller in the authors. There we go. That's the only one that we've got. Now, that was a bogus record. It was not a record that we want at all. So I can come back here and I can take it away and say save. And that record is now in the next cycle, which I will now just manually do, will be gone again. Okay, the record is gone again from the front end. You can also you could go ahead and just delete that intellectual property record as well. That would also delete it from the front end. But most of the time, you're probably going to just sort of disable them using this feature here to either turn off its permission to publish to the web, or you could change its web publishing status. Either one would do it. It will only publish when both of these are kind of correct. It's approved and ticked. And that probably sums up everything we need. I will prepare a document version of this so you can see the correct fields to edit, but that should definitely get you started.